Hello there! Motion blur is an amazing way to isolate your subject while adding tension and dynamics at the same time. You can use it with fast-moving objects you've already captured or even with completely still subjects like this one. But be careful, there are a few crucial mistakes many people make that can ruin the results. I'll show you a method to guarantee amazing results every time you use this technique. And you can follow along, simply download the image from the link in the video description down below. First things first, let's set up our layers. Duplicate the original layer 3 times. Do this by dragging it onto the little plus icon or simply hit Command or Ctrl J. Then rename them into background, shadow and subject. For now, hide the shadow and subject layer and select the background layer. Next, to get the best motion blur effect, we need a clean background without the subject itself. This is one crucial step where many people fail. But why? Because when we apply the motion blur to the background layer, it will blur our car too. This will stretch the car and it will appear behind our main subject. And you guessed it, that's not what we want. So let's get rid of the car in the background. Go to the toolbar and grab the lasso tool. Make a rough selection around the car and its shadow. Don't worry about precision here. Once the selection is done, click on Generate the Fill and then Generate. Photoshop will create multiple variations. Choose the best one for you, just be sure that the background is clean and that there is no new object generated by Photoshop. Cool, the first big step is done, now we have to clean up the shadow layer. Make the shadow layer visible again, select it, then go to the left and grab the pen tool. Try to carefully outline the shadow area. You can adjust the path by simply holding the click and dragging the mouse. Using the pen tool can be difficult at times, but in this case you don't have to be super precise. You will do that fine. Once you traced it, do a right click and hit Make Selection. With the selection active, go down to the right and apply a layer mask to the subject. Grab the Remove tool from the toolbar and remove the tires. Simply paint over the areas you want to get rid of. But why are we doing this? This ensures that the tires won't smear into the shadow when we add the motion blur later. It's basically the same reason why we removed the whole car from the background layer earlier. Now we will isolate the car. Make the subject layer visible again and select it. Grab the selection tool from the toolbar and drag a box around the car itself. Photoshop will automatically detect the subject. With the selection active, go down to the right and apply a layer mask from the subject. Select the shadow, background and generate the fill layers and merge them by hitting Command or Ctrl E. Make a right click on the new merged layer and convert it into a smart object. Select the newly merged layer, go to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur. Adjust the motion blur angle to match the perspective of the car's movement and fine-tune the distance. Hit OK to apply the setting. And boom! This looks awesome, but we are not done yet. There are still some things we need to fix. Otherwise, our results won't turn out as expected. Hey guys, if you are enjoying this content, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. YouTube is all about engagement and every interaction helps this new channel to grow and to reach out to more people. Think of it this way, your free engagement on YouTube is like leaving a tip. It makes a huge difference for me and it won't cost you a thing. Thank you so much for your support and now let's get back to the tutorial. There are two things I noticed right away which are not right. First, there's a slightly rough selection around the shadow of the tires, which looks off. And second, obviously the wheels are not spinning. This looks kind of wrong, or let's say it is wrong. The car is moving lightning speed, so of course the wheels have to spin. To tackle the shadow, simply select the layer mask of the subject layer and paint very gently with black over the edges of the tire. To let the wheel spin, we have to apply another blur filter. To do this, we select the subject layer and convert it into a smart object. Then go to Filter, Gallery Blur, Spin Blur. Disable the preview temporarily if the tool lags. Adjust the overlay circle to match the size and shape of the front wheel. Adjust the intensity and rotation to your liking. Once done, move to the back wheel and repeat the process. Hit OK when you're satisfied and the wheels are now in motion. This looks way better than before, but I noticed that the motion blur is not active behind the windows of the car. Let's fix that. Start by duplicating the subject layer and renaming it Windows. Remove any applied effects like the spin blur, as we need a clean layer. Apply the same motion blur filter to this layer as we did for the background. Then tackle the effect mask from the smart object and fill it with black to hide the blur. You can simply invert the mask by hitting Command or Ctrl I. Now use the pen tool to trace the driver's window and create a selection. Fill it with white on the mask to reveal the blur behind the glass. Repeat the process for the rear window too. Lastly, add a second layer mask to the Windows layer itself and fill it with black to hide everything. Then use a white brush to carefully paint over the windows. This ensures the layer only affects the glass, making the motion blur visible through the windows and nowhere else. And that's it! Congratulations, you've learned how to add motion blur like a pro. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If so, make sure you leave a comment and hit like and subscribe. This helps my small channel to reach out to more people. I am doing these videos for you. If you have any requests for specific tutorials or on how to get started in the design business, simply write it down in the comment section below. On my left, you will find my last video on the topic of channels, where I show you how to isolate objects using contrast. And with that, all that's what's left to say is have a great day